Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, our coaches show featuring various coaches. And on this show, we'll be talking to Mark Gole, the head swimming coach, also visiting with Larry Holley from men's basketball, Jewell Slominski from women's basketball, and last but not least, Tom Eisenhauer, the head track and field coach, talking about indoor track. When we come back, it's Mark Gole. He'll review the Great Lakes Valley Conference Championship swim meet, and we return on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.
My family is made up almost entirely of farmers and construction workers. So it's no surprise that my mom says the family motto is work hard, play hard. I grew up on a golf course, and it was the site of several family rivalries. Some of those have continued into college, as my brother plays golf at our rival Rockhurst. But don't worry, Mom, I'm still working hard in school, as a triple major. I'm Logan Ruth, and the GLVC is me.
Mark, the GLVC's recently concluded in Indiana, and that's always a big event for you guys, obviously. Give us the update on how everything went, please.
For the most part, things went pretty well. We finished team-wise kind of roughly where we expected. However, our women did surprise me in the fact that we were fourth place over Lewis by kind of a significant amount. I saw us and Lewis battling it out for that fourth place, so very proud of our women's team for being able to score as many points as they did. On the men's side, we were sixth. It was really tight from fourth through sixth. Any team could have gotten fourth, any team could have gotten fifth or sixth. It just depended on how we performed over the course of those 4 days, and we were a bit shy in a few places on the men's side, so that is why we ended up on the sixth end of that spectrum instead of fourth.
And I think that when you talk about team scores, the conference is chasing a couple of powerhouses here, and is still the gap between the very top teams and the rest of the teams pretty significant?
There is. On the women's side, first and second, they were clearly, many swimmers scoring points. Drury and Truman State. Truman actually upset Drury for the championship this year. And on the men's side, it was Drury winning it, but S&T was second. UIndy was. Everybody thought UIndy was going to contest for that title this year. They were a little off, but still, just those three schools have. There's those three on the men's side, and then there's Lewis, Truman, and Jewell, and we're all fighting for just trying to get to the next spot.
Let's talk about individuals then. Who had a good meet, and start wherever you'd like.
There's a lot of good swims, a lot of good performances on our team. Overall, we did break 21 school records. Not as many as the 34 from a year ago, but we got to remember the 34 that were done a year ago. Many of the ones that were set last year were broken again this year by the same people. But some of those graduating swimmers had some records that we couldn't take down just yet. They lived to fight through another season, but the season isn't over because we will be going to the Drury University Last Chance meet this weekend. We're going to take a van full of kids down there and see if we can improve upon some seeds and as well as learn from whether or not those individuals needed more rest than we gave them. It's pretty wild in the sense though that we did what we did. It's pretty happy with it. National
qualifying picture, where does that stand right now?
Well, to go through the rundown on the I can give you the individuals now. On that end, right now, junior Paige Meredith, she is sitting 10th place in the 100 fly. There are still 4 conference meets to go this upcoming weekend, so she's sitting 10th in that event. She's 11th in the 200 fly, an event which she actually eclipsed the GLVC record in during a time trial. It was only the third time she ever swam that event. She ended up going almost a second under the GLVC record, which was pretty amazing. But she's ranked 11th in the nation in that event. She's also ranked 11th in the 200 IM. So she broke all 3 of those school records, 2 of which were her own. Then she also broke our school record in the 100 freestyle, leading off her 400 free relay. And then our women on the 200 free relay broke a school record. So it's just kind of wild that Paige alone was a member of five school records right there. Wow. On the women's side, we had a sophomore, Shannon Ernst, who dropped almost a second off her school record 100 breaststroke. which is a really impressive swim on her end, and she was also a member of that school record-setting 200 free relay. The other members on that relay were sophomore Jordan Hamilton and sophomore Alex Milhoff. So we still have a lot of youth in the team that are still stepping up. Another school record on the women's side was freshman Maddie Allen in the 1,000 freestyle. Maggie Metz had that record at 10:20 flat. Maddie ended up going 10:12.34, so she took over 7.5 seconds off that record. And if you know what kind of an impact Maggie Metz had on our program, for Maddie to come in as a freshman and break that record by 7.5 seconds was a huge performance by her. Maddie also broke our school record in the 500 freestyle. She beat Shay Marcinski, who had that record last year as a freshman. Shay also swam very well, going a lifetime best in the 1,000 free by 34 seconds and some change. She ended up getting top 8 in that event. Carly Wood, freshman, ended up breaking the school record in the 200 back. She went her lifetime best by over 2 seconds. She ended up getting top 8 points on that. She also was top 8 in the 200 fly. Haley Ramsey, senior, I know I talked about her going in. She had the meet of her life. She was third in the 200 fly. She medaled at the GLVC championships for the first time ever as a senior. Wow. Lifetime best in the 100 fly. And a lot of schools, she'd have the school record in the 100 fly with her time, but Paige is here, and she just happens to be a little bit faster than her. But overall, our girls swam really well. A lot of lifetime bests. I'm hoping I'm not forgetting any of the school records on the women's side.
There's a lot of people to mention.
But then on the men's side, probably one of the individuals that really stood out was sophomore Jewell Pedro Granado. He ended up going his lifetime best in the 200 free, scored some points there, broke his school record in the 1,000 by almost 4 seconds. He's sitting 11th in the nation right now in the 1,000. But two of the conferences that still have yet to swim are two of the stronger distance conferences out there. So he's one of those people that we're going to have to move up. He's going to have to drop time this upcoming weekend, or he's going to be on the outside looking in to the national meet, which is crazy because 9:19 got in last year and he went 9:17 and he might be out. But he also broke his school record in the mile by over 4 seconds. Swam in a very intelligent race. It was a beautiful swim. We were really happy with that. He was conference champion last year with a time 4 seconds slower, and he drops 4 seconds and he got second. So our conference is just getting faster and faster every year. His mile was a great swim, but finished second. He had 2 runner-up performances in the 1,000 and the mile. We had sophomore Keaton Durr shatter our school record in the 200 freestyle. He's now officially the fastest 200 freestyler I've ever coached in college. He ended up he dropped from his 140 point last year to 138.9, and 138.96 he's 28th in the nation right now. If he's going to have a chance at going, he's going to have to move up. Then I'm trying to think what other records. Freshman Anthony Aranda, he's now the second fastest 200 freestyler in school history. We had 2 guys go under that record. He ended up going 139.7, leading off our 800 free relay. But he also broke school records in the 100 back, 100 fly, 200 back, and 200 IM. He was top 8 in the 200 IM, and he was in the console in the 100 fly and the 200 backstroke. Max Bennett, senior, well, he's junior eligibility, but he's going to be graduating from Jewell. He broke the school record in the 100 backstroke. Craig Haug also broke his own record, but Max just so happened to swim 7/100ths of a second faster than Craig, so Max at least gave Craig a target to shoot for down the road. Then sophomore Brian Hahn, a transfer from Eastern Michigan University, he shattered our school record in the 100 breaststroke. He lowered it by over 1.5 seconds, which is a really good swim, going 55.9, getting top 8 in that event. Then probably one of the most fun and surprising records of all was freshman Corbin Grimes from Wisconsin. Team gives him a lot of grief for his Wisconsin accent all the time, trying to do their best Corbin impression, but Corbin did everybody a favor, and he had a huge swim in the 50 freestyle. He ended up going his lifetime best by over 1 second, and has our school record taken down, Josh Sawyer's school record from last year, and he went 21.35 in the 50. And that kid has got a very bright future in the fact that he dropped insane time in everything he swam. Every time he dove in the water this weekend, he was going best times, and it was a lot of fun to see. And then probably the other big thing on the men's side, we did go school records in both medley relays by 200 medley relay by over a second, 400 medley relay by over 2 seconds, and we also broke our school record in the 200 free relay. And we knew the 200 free relay had to go down, considering we had 4 guys within 0.2 of a second in the individual 50, and it was just a lot of fun to see them drop time in that event. We were a little off in the 400 free relay and 800 free relay, but we know we still can get after it in the years to come. So I know that's a lot. If I'm forgetting anybody, I'm saying I'm sorry right now on the air.
That was Larry Holley-esque.
Sorry.
I mean, a guy that knows every detail about everything. That was really well done. Did we leave out anything that?
I hope not. I mean, we had a lot of freshmen that came in that I know we're hoping to drop a lot of time. They might have dropped, a tenth here and there, but it's just kind of crazy, this sport of swimming. You can do every single little thing right and then get to the meet and be a little off.
Yep.
And it's happened. There was a swimmer from Stanford last year as a senior. I try to tell my team this, and I told him this last year. He broke national high school records in events as a senior in high school. He was considered to be probably going to be the greatest high school swimmer of all time. Went into Stanford freshman year, didn't drop time. Sophomore year, didn't drop time. Junior year, didn't drop time. And if you could imagine swimming in a college program for 3 years, even an elite level program of Stanford, not dropping time, could probably be pretty frustrating. But he stayed true to the course, and his senior year ended up having the senior year of his life. Broke American records in a couple events, and so I just urge our young swimmers to be patient. The work that they put in will not go away, and they'll continue to improve. I guarantee it.
That's Mark Gole inside the Cardinal Playbook, and we appreciate your time, Coach. Thank you very much. Good luck at Drury getting those last shots at qualifying for the Nationals.
Well, thank you very much. If anything, Nathan Graber proved last year that it can be done. So hopefully we can get something out of this meeting the second year in a row.
We will pause and be back in just a moment.
From court to court and lane to lane, under the lights or under the sun, no one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub, with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
In 1902, Carrier introduced the world to modern air conditioning, allowing people to live comfortably, anywhere. Get ready for our next big cool idea. Now the people who invented home comfort as we know it are thinking about the specifics of your home and how you live in it. What if you could control your home's energy efficiency with a fingertip, or just let us do all the work for you? Well, what if is now what is. Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Call your local comfort experts, Hales Heating and Cooling, at 816-630-0200. Coach, at this point in the season, with 3 games remaining, we have seen our good times and our bad times, but it's been tough lately. And Indianapolis and St. Joseph's also was a good night, but Indianapolis was tough with the overtime loss.
Yeah, it's been more downs than ups.
Yeah.
We're actually playing much better, and we're getting better. We just can't finish the deal. We did have a nice win over St. Joseph's on Thursday. Saturday was a major disappointment. We played great for the first 17 and a half minutes of that game. We were up 42-27 on a team that's been in the top 25 most of the year. They've fallen out the last couple of weeks. And then we just did not play well at the end of the first half. They had a 9-0 run to cut the lead to 6, and they scored first in the second half to cut the lead. And then it's back and forth. And I believe at the end of regulation we had a 5-point lead, and then we missed some shots and wide open shots and from 3, and had a turnover. And they tie it, and in fact made a shot at the buzzer that they initially ruled that was good, and they waved it off, and we went overtime. Had a nice little lead there, and then just didn't close the deal. We have struggled with that throughout the year, but it was such a disappointing loss because we had done so many things well in that game.
Yes.
But you could say that about the game at Wisconsin Parkside. You could say that about the game at Lewis. You could say that about the game against Truman first semester, against really good teams. And we just have not closed the deal on those except for the Drury game, quite honestly. And that's been a major disappointment. And now, we probably need to win all 3 games to even be considered for the postseason. But we could win all 3 and not make it. But I anticipate a good week of practice. These guys have not given up on each other. Their attitude's been good. We just have not played well at the end of the first half, at the end of games, and in Saturday's case, at the end of overtime.
I know this is your segment, and it's your chance to talk. And I'm going to tell you a couple things I know, and that's number one. Privately, a couple of your players have told me exactly what you're saying, that the chemistry is extremely good, that they continue to work hard. They understand the losses are tough, but those things you've said all through the season about the players never giving up, that's what they're saying. And so, that doesn't happen a lot of the times when you're having a tough season. Second thing I'd like to point out is that we've seen this also. Teams that go through and have very close losses one year and you're bringing back almost a full team next year, that can turn around when you win those games, and we could be forced to be reckoned with next year because so many of the losses have been close.
We do have everybody back except Jason King, who's a reserve, and Darius Tomlin, who's been an important part of our program for the past 2 years. But all those guys need to improve over the summer, and we'll see what we bring in recruiting-wise. But that's going to be the key. We'll have a spring program, and hopefully the guys will carry it through the summer and come back in shape. And I've never had a year like this with so many players not being available. We have not had one practice all year with every player and every coach being at that practice. We did have one practice where every player was there and healthy, but there was a coach that wasn't there. So it's, and we'll see what happens with Matt Lassen. Matt's hopeful of playing these last 3 games. We'll see. And as you know, early in the year he was our leading scorer, and then I think at the time he got mono. He after a hand injury, a broken hand and broken foot, and he's had a tough year. But I think he was our second leading scorer at the time that he went down. We've been without him for 3 or 4 weeks. So, but everybody has injury and illness. We're not immune to that. But I'm not sure I've had a year quite like this. But hopefully we'll finish strong. We're playing teams that we're 0-3 against. This is our pod. And last year I think we went 5-1 in our pod against Rockhurst and S&T and Drury. This year we're 0-3 with 3 to play. And Truman is at the top of our league. Quincy's at the top of our league. And Rockhurst is much improved from last year and beat us here at home. So we'll have our challenges. But, I like, except for the finish, I like the way we're playing.
Right. You have Quincy coming up on Saturday, but before that, the trip to Truman State. And both of those games in the first part of the season, tough games.
They were. The Truman game here, they led the entire game, but we made a run at them at the end, and Javier de la Blanca hit a basket with, I think, 10 seconds to go. And unfortunately for us, one of their top players hit a basket with 5 seconds to go. We got a look late with a 3, but it didn't go. So that was disappointing. Then we went to Quincy, and they just pounced on us. They're very capable. I mean, I think they played Bellarmine maybe to a 1 or 2 point game.
Right.
And they're at the top of our league right now. The way they played against us at Quincy reminded me of the way Indianapolis played here, not this year, but a year ago. They just were dominant. I think their point guard got hurt. I think they're now playing without their point guard, and that's kind of an important person on the floor. So they haven't maybe been quite as strong, but that's our last game on Saturday. It'll be senior day for Jason King and Darius Tomlin. We'll hopefully finish strong and have a nice celebration afterwards for them.
I thought Quincy, when we played them at Quincy, that was the best performance I'd seen by a team against us this year, including Bellarmine. Bellarmine was close, but I thought Quincy that night was as good as I saw.
Those were the two. Bellarmine had us down 59-19. I don't know if I've ever coached a team that's been down 40 at home.
Yeah.
So they were both pretty potent and both very talented, and hopefully we'll have a different result this Saturday.
Thank you, Coach Holley.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more on Inside the Cardinal Playbook in just a moment.
Sixteen men's and women's basketball teams representing one of the premier NCAA Division II conferences have their sights set on St. Charles, Missouri this March, with one goal in mind: to be crowned champion. The Great Lakes Valley Conference bringing some of the nation's finest college basketball to Family Arena this March. Who will win the GLVC title? Be there to find out. For ticket information, log on to glvcsports.com.
Members of the Cardinal Sportscasters Club include these merchants.
I'm Kurt McCoy with MFS Design Services. Find us online today at www.mfsdesignservices. Let's get started on your project. Our current portfolio includes many local Kansas City businesses.
Advanced Logistics and Fulfillment is a local company that assembles point-of-purchase displays. They are proud to say that 5 William Jewell graduates are valued employees. Advanced Logistics and Fulfillment, 8800 East Underground Drive in Kansas City.
With the games remaining in the conference, what are the playoff chances? Let's start with that for your team.
I still think they're pretty much up in the air with 3 games left. I mean, looking at it, we could be out of it. If we lose all 3 games, there's a pretty good chance we're out of it. But if we lose all 3 games, there's still a chance we're in it. And we still have an opportunity of a home game. To me, most likely, if we can win at least one game, we're going to get into the playoffs, one out of these 3, which isn't an easy task when you look at the 3 teams that we're playing. You just kind of, I told the players, it's kind of like a playoff situation that we're in right now, and that's how we have to look at each game and get the best game plan possible and then play our best and hopefully be able to come out and win. If we win all 3, we'll have a home game.
Oh, and this is off the cuff. I'm going to ask you this, and I don't think we've ever talked about this before, but 16 teams in the GLVC, 12 qualify for the postseason. Is that too many?
No,
you like it? I mean,
the spot that I'm in right now, I'd say no. I think that's plenty. That's good.
But in other years, any other times, just in general, is that too many?
I don't think so, especially when you look at our conference. I think maybe it would be too many if there was a big parity, difference on the teams from top to bottom, but in my opinion, there really isn't.
Well, then maybe should all 16 go? Just talking here?
No, I think there's still something that you want to be, aiming for.
Right.
I don't think when you take all 16, I think that kind of, waters down the whole conference season. But I think the way they run it is good, and then that first playoff game, the top 4 get to go automatically, and then. Get the home game or away game and then go. So, I think the way they have it set up is good, especially as big as our league is with 16. I just think you need to, bring in 12.
Well, spinning out of control on philosophy. Let's go back to your team. I like what you say is that if you do get into the tournament, then you have a chance to play very well there because you've played very well during stretches of this year. Yeah,
you look at how we've played against some of those top teams, and take out Drury. Drury really kind of pounded us, but when you look at the conference, even with Lewis, I thought, we were within 4 with about 3 minutes left. You look at Parkside is up there, Bellarmine is up there and was in the top 25 at one time, and we end up losing to them, I believe, by 2 or 3. And so I think, once you get in there, there are those teams we can play with, and it's an exciting time. I think probably had we gotten beat by 30 by quite a few teams, it wouldn't be as something to look forward to as much. But and it's our players, and our players believe that too. And we get in there. You look at Quincy. Quincy, we played really well. And they're ranked in the top 20. And so I think there's opportunity for us. We just really need to get ourselves in there, and then for me it's a new season, and for our players, and then we kind of go after it and see what we can do.
Let me ask you to answer this question with one word, then expound upon it. But what's been the worst part of the season? What's been the best part of the season? What's the worst part in one word?
losing. It's losing those games that I think we could have won, or we've worked hard enough to win, and just maybe a couple of little things that cost us those games. That's been the hardest thing to take, and going into those locker rooms afterwards when those kids, we did the game, we followed the game plan, there's just a couple of mistakes down the line. Those are tough. The best thing is a lot of times when you have a team where you're going through a season like this, where you're not winning as much as maybe what we're used to, they work so hard, and you can still see in practices it's not where they're just walking through things and wanting the season over. They might be thinking it. I think at some point anybody does when you're not winning as much as you want to or expect to. But it's a credit to those kids. I'll tell you what, they work really hard, and I love coaching them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to go there and know that you're all fighting to go in the right direction, the same direction. Which, when you look at how big our team is, that's a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, and you're talking about the numbers of players you have.
Yeah, we have 18, and it's a credit to them that at least for me looking in, they've stayed as positive and as encouraging as they have, all of them.
Truman State, and then we host Quincy, and then Rockhurst on the road. Tough go here for you.
Yeah, none of those games are easy, and the interesting thing is when you look at our schedule and our games, and we play better against those top teams. I haven't figured out quite why, but we really do, and so all those teams are ahead of us right now, and so I guess when you look at that probably works in our favor a little bit. But Truman, Quincy, and Rockhurst, they're all very, very well coached, and those kids are very talented, and they're playing hard, and I think we can match up with them, and we could win all three, we could lose all three, and so that's kind of where we are, and I'm excited to go play and see what happens.
That's women's head basketball coach Jill Slominski. Thank you, Coach. Best of luck over those three games. And we'll be back with more Inside the Cardinal Playbook after this.
With every basket and every stop, the skill of elite student athletes will be on display. The sights, the sounds, the intensity of an NCAA championship. It all comes down to this moment, and the winner takes it all. Be there to share the experience with your family and friends. The 2016 NCAA Division II Elite Eight, March 23rd, 24th, and 26th at Dr. Pepper Arena in Frisco, Texas. Visit ncaa.com/tickets to score your championship tickets today.
Students learn best when they're fully engaged in their educational experience, and at William Jewell, we want that to happen every day in every class. This building, the Prior Learning Commons, is central to that effort. So every piece of furniture, every technology, every space has been designed to create engagement on the part of students.
Tom, you just come back off the Pittsburgh State meet, and I know you're zeroing in on the GLBC conference meet, but let's start with Pitt. How did everything go over the 2 days?
We had an outstanding showing at Pittsburgh, and it was our second time going down there this year, so we've gotten some good looks at the venue, which is good because we're hoping to send a few kids to national championships, and that's where they'll be hosted. But all in all, a great event. We had 15 personal bests in 8 different events. We had 4 school records go down. Fabio Kamler broke the 200-meter record that was previously held by Clint Edier. His time of 22.30 was a personal best for him as well. Margaret Perko broke the high jump record, which was previously held by Julia Parker. She hit it in December, and so I have a feeling those two are going to go back and forth with that record. Her mark was also an NCAA provisional qualifying mark, so that's just another one from her, in addition to her provisional qualifying mark in the pentathlon. Our women's 4x400 meter relay team broke the school record, and that was a record that they crushed by about 7 seconds.
7 seconds?
So it was quite a showing by those girls, and they did an outstanding job. So it was a great meet. Real pleased with what everybody's doing. It's always good as a coach to see some performances like that and to know that hey, the training we're doing is appropriate, we're doing the right things, but more importantly, that our athletes are getting out there competing, they're executing the things that we're trying to do.
Review for us, if you would, what a provisional qualifying mark means.
So in order to be invited to the national championships, you have to be on this list. And in order to be on the list, you have to hit a provisional qualifying mark. And so you can get online and monitor these lists on a website that's called tfrrs.org. We call it TFRS. But essentially, just to get on the list, you got to hit a provisional qualifying mark. And then once you're on the list, at the end of the season, you've got to be high enough. And so sometimes it's a moving target. The NCAA only takes a certain number of athletes to the national meet, and so in some events you may have someone who's qualified in multiple events. Well, even if they're in multiple events, they're only one person, so that frees up spots in another event. So in the women's meet especially, sometimes the individual qualifier numbers are higher in each event because there's a lot of girls that will do both. And the pentathlon is a very competitive event. And, to compete at the national championship in that event, just like Margaret is a provisional qualifier in the high jump, you're good enough to be a national qualifier in multiple events. Right. So,
well, okay, so there's a provisional, but what about is there a hardcore line where you qualify if you win this event?
It's not about winning, but there is an automatic qualifying mark, and so each event has an automatic mark and then a provisional mark.
Okay.
And the automatic marks are they're very good, and really only a handful of people in each event per year even hit those. So they're there, they exist, but I'd say in each event maybe 3 to 4 are actually hitting the automatic mark. So
it is rare.
It is rare.
Yeah. How about what's coming up for you? You have a week off now, and then again one more meet before conference?
No, we're going to head down to University of Missouri again. This is the Missouri Collegiate Challenge, and we just view this as a tune-up. So this is a meet where we're really just trying to get some few last reps in, but we're keeping the overall volume lower for everybody, helping them to be a little bit more rested, but just getting another bit of race experience. As we're talking about this, I completely left out the 4th school record, which was Jessica Goldsberry in the women's 400 meters, and so she beat the record that was set by Maggie Swenson, and she hit that by about a second. So it was a great meet for her. She was part of that 4x4 that also broke the record too.
Okay. All right, so this is all indoor. You got the outdoor season coming up also. When is your first outdoor competition?
The outdoor season, we're scheduled to open up. This basically it's the weekend of spring break, so that's March. I believe it's it's either the 19th or 20th, middle of March. That'll be our first meet. Like I said, for us that's spring break, so we'll go down to the University of Tulsa, and they do a great meet down there, and we get down a little bit further south and hopefully chase some warm weather, and after that we'll just roll right through. And as you know, the Great Lakes Valley Conference Outdoor Championships are going to be back here at Jewell this spring, and of course we'll host the Darryl Gorley Open on April 16th, and so we're looking for a great homestand this year.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Rick.
And we'll be back with more after this.
Yeah, when it comes to training, for example, in this location, they've sent 3 technicians to be fully Ford trained. And what that means is they have to be aluminum welding certified through ICAR, which is our industry training body. They would have had to go through the Ford informational course, which is an online course, and they would have taken some other aluminum specific courses to enable them to repair this particular vehicle.
Members of this year's Cardinal Sportscasters Club include...
This is Sabrina McIntosh of U.S. Health Advisors, where our motto is hope, helping other people every day. We'll answer your questions and clear up the confusion about current healthcare issues. Call me on my cell, 515-490-3883.
Advanced Logistics and Fulfillment is a local company that assembles point-of-purchase displays. They are proud to say that 5 William Jewell graduates are valued employees. Advanced Logistics and Fulfillment, 8800 East Underground Drive in Kansas City.
Our thanks today to coaches Mark Gole, Larry Holley, Jill Slominski, and Tom Eisenhauer. And a reminder that you can follow Cardinal basketball for the remainder of the season on the William Jewell College Sports Network. We'll have the live road broadcast from Truman on Thursday night and next Thursday night from Rockhurst University. Those will be audio only. And Saturday's final home doubleheader against Quincy will start at 12:40 with our women's pregame show. Join us again next time on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.